Welcome YouTube to another MTR Fab video. This is MTR. And this week we're doing another RC lawnmower video. As you can see, I've placed the mower deck temporarily under the frame. It's mounted up loosely in the back. And this was to give me an idea of what I'm going to do in the front. So a few things I'd like to say before we get too far into this project is excuse the shadows and the flicker. I'm using LED lights, and sometimes the camera flicker and the LED light flicker seem to line up, and there's not much I can do about it. So with that said, I am trying to give you the best video experience I can with what I got. So this is the current issue that I need to solve in the build, and that's how to create the adjustability I have in the rear here in the front. Now to do this, I started to lay this all out on the floor, as you can see, and I realized that this floor, I mean I knew this before, but this floor is tilted, it's pitched towards a drain. So it's not really the best thing to build off of, especially if you're trying to, get everything level. So that brings me to the next issue, which is currently this mess. Now this is a 4-foot by 4-foot table that has like the winter's projects left over on it, some of which are to do with this mower, and some of it is just crap. So with that, I've got to get the mini mill off of here, I've got to put all this stuff away, and then I'm going to get this mower off the floor and put it on the table. And then we'll talk more when we get there, and I'm going to level this all out, and I'm going to figure out how to put some adjustment in the front. I'm thinking there's going to be one plate that's going to go down and cross into this bar, and then I think I'm going to do the same kind of thing. 2 bolts that you pop out, and the brackets drilled for multiple holes, and that'll drop this up and down with 1 set of bolts in the front, 2 sets of bolts in the rear. Yeah. Alright, let me get this table cleared up. Huh. Alright, well that makes the video, because that took all kinds of time. The objective here is level the table. I'm going to level the table as best I can, and then I'm going to take the mower and put it on the table. And from there I'll be able to measure up from the table and kind of count on the measurements that I get. And then I can level this frame member, because I think it's high in the front, by cutting it free down here, and I'll move that to wherever it needs to be to get that level with the table surface. And then once that's level with the table surface, I can figure out what I need to do to make the adjustment in here. Table's pretty good that way, but this way it's pretty off. So I'm going to bring this leg up quite a bit. Just some shim stock from stuff left over. Okay, I've gotten it reasonably close by shimming. It's not perfect by any means, but it's a lot closer than what I was getting before. So that's a decent place to start. Alright, it's on the table. Now this is what we got. The weight actually helped the table settle out quite a bit. It's perfect now. I'm psyched about that. So now you can see that this guy's out by about a ½ inch or so. I can get a better measurement of that here in a little bit. So we're gonna level the tube, then we're gonna level the deck, and then we're gonna work in here and figure out what we need to do. Obviously I'm gonna cut this free here to adjust this height to get this tube to go down in the front. But before I do that, I've got to go through and really check the tire pressures, make sure everything in the back and the hardware is tight in the mounts, so everything's where it's going to sit. Because then I can create the adjustment in here. Here we are with all the tools I think I'll need to get this done. The first thing I did was set the tire pressures and bolted them down good and actually tightened them up. I didn't put all 4 bolts in, but I did put 3 out of 4, and nice and tight. That set my elevation from left to right nicely off the table. The tire pressures definitely have to be super low, or else it really starts to change the diameter of the tires and they don't change equally. So I had to run these down, I think around 10 pounds. Where is it? I really think I would prefer them harder, but we'll see. Anyway, what I got to do is I'm going to cut this free here, and I'm going to use a cutoff tool just to zip these couple tacks. I know we put them on the other day. I wasn't really thinking. I should have just cleaned off the table then and put this thing up there, but it is what it is. I'm going to cut it free. As you can see, I got a jack stand that's here ready to support this when I cut this free. And I'm going to try to leave most of my tack stuff on this tube so I can take it outside and grind it. I prefer not to do grinding inside the shop as much as I can because the rust dust tends to settle on equipment, and if it's, you know, mild steel, it will start to rust stuff in your shop. I'm likely going to say this more than once on this channel, but when you're using the grenade wheel here, always make sure you have that. And don't do what I just did, which is, you know, slam the edge on metal objects. I don't want to grind and cut anymore. I'm going to give it a persuasion bump. There we go. I've got this off, and I'm going to go take it outside with the cordless Milwaukee and flap that off. And then I'll come back in here and do a little bit of work on that. Alright, we got it ground. Everything's cleaned up. I got this joint where I want. The tube is 20 3/8 from the top to the deck height. Right there and right there. So it's nice and parallel to the table. And I don't know if you can kind of see now, it lines up more so with the garage door panels. And that's actually pretty good as far as level. Now I've got a piece of flat plate aluminum scrap that's just backing up this joint to keep these tubes flat. I've got a caul piece kind of holding the dimension, and I'm going to tack this back on, and then we can put the deck back up here and start figuring out what we're going to do for adjustment. So this is the back of the beam. See if I can get you 20 3/8. Perfect. Add this piece of scrap tube around. Threw that on for reference. Got that perpendicular to the table. And now I'm looking at my options here. What I'd like to do here is the same thing. Excuse the light because I don't have my headlamp with me, but I'd like to do the same adjustment I have in here. So a piece of tubing cut in half, flipped around as a channel for this stuff to ride in. I have another chunk of that material that I can easily mill the set of holes required. So the next step is I'm going to cut a piece of tube, and the tube I'm going to cut, this is all kind of design on the fly, right? I'm going to cut the piece of tube so it's long enough to go in there. So I'm going to cut the equivalent length of this, and then I'm going to split it open, and then we'll put it in here, and I'll box it in down here. Alright, after some hacking and tearing, that's what we got. Now, I gotta say, I don't have much more time today for this video, and I'd like to put something out for you guys to watch. But everyday life, and this is what I can do. So please check back again. Next time you see this, I'm going to have this welded in. This is going to be boxed in down here. I'm going to have some holes drilled in with a couple nuts and some adjustment bars, or a adjustment bar, as you can see here. And essentially, turn this on. Alright, so now you see this guy is going to slide inside that guy. And I'll weld nuts to that, drill holes in this, and then weld this to this bar. And then I'll be able to go up and down just like I do back here in 1-inch increments. And we're good to go. Alright, next time you see it, it's going to be all tacked together and the mower is going to be fully suspended, and then maybe we can get to wiring. Yeah, I feel like a test is coming soon. Alright, thanks for watching. I'm out.